Hi everyone. On this episode of Who, What, When, etc., the what and where are kind of obvious. It's the visitor center / rest stop located at exit 61 on the west side of Wallace, Idaho. Now we've all been on those long car trips when a sign that reads rest stop ahead is a welcome sight to everyone in the vehicle.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
I'm not touching you. Does this bug you? I'm not touching you. Does this bug you? I'm not touching you.
Are we there yet?
Let's face it, a road trip across large portions of open space is an experience that makes even those who hate to fly wish they were cruising at 30,000 feet. Even with air-conditioned cars, built-in DVD players, and all of our smartphones and tablets, the open road can still be a little too open. The Wallace Chamber of Commerce is also located here, and this is a good place to get information and recommendations concerning the town and the local area in general. The park here is also home to a free outdoor mining museum placed and maintained by the Mining Heritage Incorporated. Mining Heritage Exhibition Incorporated is a tax-exempt 501c organization. They created this outdoor museum with donations and volunteer labor, and how you can get more information about them will appear at the end credits. The exhibit continues to be a work in progress. Here are many displays of various mining equipment, and most have interpretive signs. Wallace, as well as the other towns of the Silver Valley, is very proud of its mining heritage. It's a way of life that many people know little about. Everything man has and uses must either be grown or mined. Even the plastics, the synthetics, the minerals in our daily vitamins come from things that are mined out of the ground. It's not just about the monetary value precious metals like silver and gold have. It's about all the items we use to work and to live. This educational loop continues to grow and expand. You'll find a great example of a Coeur d'Alene rocker dump. Now these are used all over the world to haul out the wet muck from the mine. But what makes this one special is an exclusive safety latch that allows the operator to dump the contents to either side. And there's other pieces of rail equipment around it showing examples of the cars used to haul out men, equipment, lumber, pipes, and of course, ore. Of course, it was the discovery of gold that first brought miners into the area. Here you can find a 5-stamp mill. Used for breaking up gold-bearing quartz and rock, this mill was used at the Mountain Lion mine near Murray. In the early 1900s, there were as many as 85 stamps used in the various gold mines around the Murray and Pritchard area. Next to this sits an example of a monitor, the nozzle used in hydraulic mining. Used by the early gold miners, these used a high-pressure jet of water to literally blast away the ground and mountainside. Though rarely used anymore, this was about the only way the miners could get to the gold. The bedrock in the Murray area can be at a depth between 20 to 30 feet or even deeper. The downside of this method is that it ruined the land, and it also created mountains of silt downstream that destroyed agricultural areas and waterways. Behind this sits a building that, at the time of filming, is still a work in progress. Compressors were essential in mining. Air was used to power the jacks and the various drills. Compressed air is used to run the small locomotives and other equipment. Of course, it's the massive hoist frame that dominates the view. It bears the name Evolution. The Evolution was the name of A.J. Pritchard's mine located just to the west of Osborne. In the 1870s, Pritchard discovered galena and staked his claim and built a cabin. It was because of that mine the Silver Valley experienced an evolution and became the silver capital of the world. The display shows one way miners, equipment, and ore were raised and lowered into the shafts. Because of the kind of environment that exists underground, voice communication was unreliable and undependable. A bell code was used to communicate with the hoist operator. There's a sign here that explains how this all worked. To the side, there's a 401 Air Locomotive. These small trains were used for hauling miners and various other things throughout the underground tunnels. They ran on a tank of compressed air. And in the early days, human or animal power was all they had to move things through the miles of tunnels and drifts. Gas or diesel engines could not be run underground due to carbon monoxide. So this system was devised. The transmission allowed the locomotive to travel in either direction, and both the engine and braking system were powered by compressed air. One of the older pieces of mining technology is the whim, or as seen here, a mule-powered hoist. They also used horses and sometimes people. By simply walking around in a circle, they were used to haul rock and miners up and down just like the large hoists. These were ideal for sinking vertical shafts a short distance. Animal power was used at first, followed by steam or electric engines. And being outside, they could also use gas-powered engines. Continuing on, you'll run across a display of various bits and drills used underground to make holes for explosive charges and to bust up larger rocks so they could be removed in an ore car. At first, these drills were held by hand and struck using a sledgehammer. After each blow, the bit was turned a quarter turn. Later, air-powered drills and hammers were used. When water was introduced to the bits, this greatly reduced the dust generated by these air tools and helped lower the lung damage caused by silicosis, though it didn't eliminate it completely. Next to these is an example of an underground tunnel showing the explosive patterns used to blast out the rock. There are a couple of signs in the entrance that explain how the charges were placed and what the pattern was that they went off in. The idea is not to blow up the rock face, but rather to blow it out.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
And since you're in Wallace anyway, take the I-90 business loop through town and see this historic mining town for yourself. There's plenty of great places to get something to eat, and Wallace also has some of the best antique stores to be found anyplace. The North Idaho Trading Company, located right on the loop at Bank and 5th Street, has antique and vintage items ranging from firearms to furniture to signage, taxidermy, and antlers. This place has the antlers, and you can purchase them by the pound. Just up the street there's Wallace Antiques, and this is truly a museum with price tags. Vintage toys, signage, advertisement, furniture, tableware. There's authentic native items, turquoise jewelry, and Wallace Antiques is also home to Northwest Wines. Specializing in local wines from the Northwest, they even have their own Lamppost Lily that has become somewhat of a favorite with customers. Located near the entrance is a small memorial commemorating the Great Fire of 1910. The Big Burn, or the Big Blow as it became known as, was the largest forest fire in recorded history here in North America. For 36 hours, the fire generated hurricane-force winds and burned an area the size of the state of Connecticut. Between 85 to 90 people, mostly firefighters, were killed. A third of Wallace's east side was destroyed, but the fire was effectively stopped here in Wallace. So thanks for watching. Now's a good time to start planning that next car trip. And if you're heading across the panhandle of North Idaho on I-90 anyway, you now know of a rest stop and free outdoor museum that you really need to stop and visit.
I'm done touching you. Does this bug you? I'm done touching you. Does this bug you? I'm done touching you.
Are we there yet?